Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Ignored and Underestimated. And we're doing something brand new. We're going to start our mental health series, and I want everyone to meet my new and first guest for this new series, Wanda. Wanda?
Hi, and thanks for having me today.
So, Wanda's going to tell you all about herself, her diagnosis, and her experiences.
Um, my name is Wanda. I am 48 years old. I was diagnosed with bipolar 2, post traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and schizoaffective. That's different from schizophrenic. It's schizoaffective.
How does that differ from schizophrenic?
Schizoaffective is a case of you have moments of psychotic episodes without it constantly being schizophrenic people. Um, the best way to explain that is schizophrenic people have paranoia. They have moments where they are out of control. Schizoaffective is not something that happens to you all the time. It's more so a case where you might hear voices, you might feel things on you, you might do all kinds of different things.
See things?
When, excuse me?
See things as well?
Yes, you can see things that are not there. You can hear things that are not there. And you also can feel things that are on you that, are not there.
Yeah, I have another friend who has PTSD, schizoaffective disorder, bipolar 2. So, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of have the same diagnosis.
Yeah, and I've seen him when he's had those incidents where he'll be out and he'll be seeing and hearing things, and we'll just be sitting at a restaurant having dinner or whatever, and he'll be thinking he's seeing something or hearing something.
Well, I don't have a problem with saying, because I am a full disclosure person. I deal with the voices, and I deal with feeling like something, it's like a big piece of hair that takes and goes over your body or whatever.
Okay.
And you feel like something is on you and there's nothing there.
Gotcha. Full disclosure, I myself have dealt with depression. I was on antidepressants off and on. I was on antidepressants for 11 years fully, 7 days a week. I was on 2 towards the end, and I've been off of those since 2016.
Okay.
And it was, part of that was due to just dealing with a lot of different things, from dealing with personal, issues. I was in a negative relationship that was very toxic and abusive verbally. And so that was part of that, kind of contributed to that. So it was to a point that I had to kind of do something, because I was getting to a point that the depression was so bad that I was suicidal.
I've been there.
And I didn't act on it, but I contemplated it.
So you had suicidal ideations?
Yes, I had the ideations. I didn't act on it, but I had the ideations a lot, especially towards the end of the relationship when it got really, really bad and the situation I was in. Yeah, it was a constant thought.
Well, I'll share this with you. I self-harmed, and when I say self-harm, cutting and burning myself since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
Okay, that was a way to relieve my pain. Physical pain you can get over. Mental pain will break you down and you feel like it's never going to get better.
Sure.
I've had the suicidal ideation as well, so I have acted several times on, suicidal thoughts. I've spent time in mental hospitals. There are still days now where I try to dig down within myself to find something to live for. One of the things that keep me going as far as mental health is I have a loving, caring son.
Mm.
He is my heartbeat. He is my reason for living, you know? And if I didn't have him, I don't know what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my problem with being in the mental health field
Mm-hmm.
is the support from mental health personnel that you get.
Mm.
The funding that programs do not get. You'll go to a therapist 1 week, you get ready to go the next week, and the program has shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Or you will be going to a program, and because that program does not agree, or they tend to misdirect you,
Mm-hmm.
and they mistreat you, and when you go to speak up for yourself and advocate for yourself, a lot of lies are told about you,
Mm-hmm.
things that are not true. You have two different types of mental health people. You have core people who are maintained on their own with just medication.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have people that are needs a little more support than other people.
Mm-hmm.
I've struggled with depression my whole life. I have suffered from a lot of traumatic experiences. I've dealt with all types of abuse. I've dealt with abandonment. I've dealt with rejection. And sometimes we, as mental health patients, suffer in silence. We don't know how to ask for help. We feel these things are going on with us. I could speak for myself. You feel like things are going on, but you never address them.
Right.
One of the things that happened to me was all my life, no matter what happened, I felt like I had this little closet in the back of my head,
Mm-hmm.
and I shoved everything into that closet. And then in 2017, all the things that I haven't dealt with in my life all came spilling out at one time. And when those things came spilling out in 2017, I am trying to clean those things up now. So things that people felt like I should be over
Mm-hmm.
or done with, I am now reliving them, because the one thing I would definitely say to anybody that suffers from depression or any type of mental illness is this right here. If
Mm-hmm.
you do not process and deal with those things, I can promise you, I'm a living witness, they will come back to hunt you.
Right.
Mental health has affected my life in several different ways. When I, like I say, I've dealt with depression and, different things all my life. And one thing that I want to make clear is that there is a difference between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. Bipolar 1, you deal with the basis of you have a lot of hypomania. You have a lot of manic episodes that can expand from spinning sprees to sexual promiscuousness. It can be obsessive behavior. Bipolar 2, you have more lows than highs. And what you have when you're manic is called hypomanic. Okay, and that's what I have. I have hypomania. I'm never, manic to the point that is like really, really bad. I do have anxiety where I don't know, I walk a lot, or I'll shake my feet or something like that. And a lot of times I don't even know I'm doing it
Mm-hmm.
until somebody brings it to my attention.
Mm.
The other thing that I want to say, one of the reasons why mental health is so important to me, not only do I experience issues with mental health, one of the reasons why I went to college was to learn more about myself. I majored in psychology so I could learn more about myself and know, what it was like. I wanted to know who I was and why I thought the things I thought and why I felt the way I felt, and even though nobody has ever really advocated for me as a mental health person, people that are less, I don't want to say less fortunate than me, a lot of people who are not able to advocate for themselves, I stand up for those that don't have a voice.
Right. That was kind of the whole reason I started this for people with physical challenges, because we need people to advocate for us, because there's not enough people, speaking up.
Well, I know, like in mental health, a lot of times you are scared to speak up
Mm-hmm.
in fear of repercussions, things that are going to come back and bite you in the butt, as I like to say.
Right.
And I've experienced a lot of different programs and a lot of different therapists, but I've only had two therapists that have changed my life, that I felt like have helped me in any way, form, or fashion. One of them, she's passed on now, and she was one of the best therapists I ever had. And the other one I just recently lost due to budget cuts in the program. And she was awesome. I mean, so much till when she left, I basically had a mini breakdown. I mean, I was depressed for days, crying. And even to this day, I miss them both. The first therapist, the one that has passed away, I lost her due to me speaking up about a program that was treating me wrong. And she had to cut off contact with me. And then the second therapist that I had that I just lost, she was like the best in the world next to my other therapist. And I lost her due to budget cuts. And they don't realize how it affects mental health patients when you're constantly getting new psychiatrists, you're constantly getting new therapists, and you have to tell those stories over and over again, and learning to build a trust
with somebody new.
Yes, and it's like hard because like I have a new therapist now. First of all, it's virtual. You don't get to see these people. You're sitting there and you're talking to them. And then for me, because I have trust issues, I'm wondering if I'm sitting here talking to you, who's in the other room listening to what I'm saying?
Right.
Or who's recording me, or who's gonna, make fun of me. I feel like when people look at me, they can see all my flaws.
Right.
Everything.
You just feel naked.
I really do. And so many times you are not just with mental health patients, but people in general, we're not allowed to be emotionally naked in front of anybody.
Right.
You have to hide your feelings and put on a mask. I tell people I wear a mask 6 days out the week. And you pretend to be okay when you're not okay. And sometimes I know for me, I overcompensate.
I think a lot of people do that. They overcompensate, wear a mask, and we just put up this front. And it gets so draining emotionally, mentally, that it starts to physically drain us as well, to the point that we start to see it, really becoming detrimental to us.
I mean, it really is, because I've learned over the years that one of the things that I do is that I have a tendency of holding everything in, and it tends to affect me physically.
Right.
And it makes me extremely ill.
Until it reaches a boiling point.
Yes.
And then it physically takes a toll on you.
Yes. Because what has happened with me now is that I've held so much in that my blood pressure stays high. I constantly feel like I'm having panic attacks. My heart is like jacked up now. I have so many health issues with my heart and everything. And all these negative things are happening to me because of what's going on with me mentally.
Well, we'll do a second video about your physical stuff.
No problem. But I was just saying, how the mental affected the physical.
Right.
And I mean, you walk around and you basically you are lost. And
people still forget the fact that your mental health affects your physical health. Those things are tandem. They go hand in hand. So if your mental health is off, your physical health is going to take a toll. I was literally talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking, the last couple of days about the mental toll of, pressures of their job is affecting their health, and it's affecting their overall health, and mental and physical health. And it's like, you have to do stuff. You have to make changes, because if not, it's going to kill you or put you it's going to literally take you out or have you mentally just gone.
One of the things that I want to say in conclusion to what I'm saying is, so many times I know for me, I have a tendency of not wanting to feel. Because
wanting to go numb.
Very much so. And, pretend, because I don't feel like I have a safe place
Okay.
to be able to express my feelings. You are rejected and your feelings are
Right.
dismissed so many times, especially when you don't have the support to be able to have a safe place. I am kind of fortunate because I have a little brother that kind of gives me that safe place
Hmm.
to be able to, exist and speak to him. But, even though he's not my blood brother, he definitely has been there for me on
Hmm.
several occasions. And I mean, my son tries but my son doesn't want to see me weak. And I don't express my feelings with a lot of people because I don't want to be weak.
And the thing is, we gotta get that image out of our head, that narrative out of our head, that's showing a moment where you're just letting yourself be vulnerable and be in that moment where you're just like, I just can't do this right now, and I just need somebody to just kind of take the reins for a moment. That's not being weak. That just means that right now I need some help. I need some support. And the thing is, I have been in that position where I have had, with a lot of the stuff that I've dealt with my own mental health. No, I'm not in that same depression that I was back up until 2016. I'm not in that place, thankfully. But it was to a point that, because of the relationship that I was in, the person that I was with, I was in a really bad, toxic, narcissistic relationship. The person was emotionally abusive towards me. I was with a person that was also very emotionally selfish. I was with people that were, just didn't care about my personal, feelings, my emotional feelings, my emotional well being, and they didn't care about if I was happy. So it just got to a point that like you said about going numb, I just went numb. I just literally checked out. I just was an autopilot. And when it got so bad, I was contemplating suicide. I was literally, and this is before I moved back to Georgia, I was literally calling my sister up on the phone on my lunch break at work, crying because I couldn't do it anymore, because I was just so fed up. And she's the only person that knows what was going on.
Well, I'll tell you, one of
And
the things that it's three things that I want to point out that I really hate about having a mental illness.
Mhm.
Number one, people blame everything on your mental illness.
Mhm.
If if you're expressing something or you're in your emotions or whatever, they say you're playing the victim.
Right.
You want sympathy.
Right.
The other thing is people try to tell you how you feel.
Right.
And the third thing that I want to say that really, really frustrates me to death
Mhm.
is when you say, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm going through. See me as a mental health patient.
Mhm.
For myself. I feel like nobody sees me. Nobody sees me. And you hear me say nobody sees me. Yes, physically you see me. But most people don't even know me.
Right.
They never take the time to get to know me because I'm afraid
Mhm.
to be, like I said, emotionally naked
Mhm.
to be able for people to get to know me.
Right. And the sad thing is, people, you're afraid to let people see who you are. And it's like, people, and in my case with my physical stuff, people don't see me. They see an image, and they have a perception of who they think I am, and they go with that idea before they even speak to me and say anything to me. And then when they talk to me, they get a completely different idea.
Yes,
Of,
I definitely know that.
watch it now. Watch it. But you get what I'm saying. And that's why I wanted to do this, because I want people to see us,
Yes.
see us. See us, really see us,
Well, we both deal with two different disabilities. Yours is more physical, mine is more mental. And you would think that, people look at me, they won't see my, disability, but I struggle a lot of times with my disability.
Right.
I struggle with getting the support for my disability
And,
and all these things.
and the sad thing is, it's another thing you got to think about it in this country. Mental health is another thing that they don't prioritize,
especially in our culture.
Especially in
the Afro-American culture,
in minority cultures as a whole. We could talk about it from the African American culture, but in minority cultures as a whole, the stigma is so much worse when it comes to mental health. They don't treat it. We're looked at. I literally, and I'm gonna use a prime example. And this is a fictional story. It's a soap opera. They literally took a story of an angry black man from 40 years ago who left his family because he was given a diagnosis of schizophrenia, because he was angry and black, because he was young and he was looking at society's injustice. And because they didn't know how to deal with it, because he was a black man and the doctors didn't know how to treat that, they didn't know what to do with it, they automatically just gave him the diagnosis of schizophrenia, which that wasn't it. It was the fact that he was just angry about the injustice that was going on.
A lot of people are misdiagnosed every day. But I'll tell you, we talk about how society deals with mental health. Well, like I say, I'm going to speak on this from the Afro-American sense. Afro-American, in our culture, mental health is not something that parents prioritize. They,
No.
For years, they felt like we are the race that's like supposed to just get over it.
Right.
You could deal with this, you could deal with this. But we, as myself as a parent, as well as other, we need to take our children's mental health serious, because we have so many young people now that deal with so much.
I have it in my own family. And there are people that don't do what they're supposed to do, and we make excuses for it. And I tell them, you need to get some help. You need to take care of yourself. Because when I was going through the height of my depression, when it was damn near about to kill me, I said, I need to be on some medication. I got on medication. I started seeing a therapist. 3 times a week I was going to therapy. I was on 2 antidepressants towards the end. And then I realized that what it was, and I always dealt with some kind of depression growing up. It was dealing with some personal things, But once I kind of reconciled with all that stuff and dealt with the seasonal, I still get seasonal depression, whatever. I get depression around certain times a year, whatever. So, but once I got myself out of certain things, I am not afraid to say, if I need some help, and my mental state is not in the right place, I am not afraid to tell somebody, look, mentally, I am struggling. And I have told my friends, my family, or the people I trust, I've told them, look, I'm struggling right now. I am dealing, and I've had a rough 3 years, and I'm finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, for me, I am still in this place where some days I'm like, I'm gonna make it.
Right.
And then other days,
right,
I feel like I get punched in the stomach and all the air is knocked out of
me.
But
the thing is, you don't ever give up. Even though you want to sometimes, because I know you, but the one thing about you is you still a fighter.
Have to be. My middle name is Survivor.
Right, exactly. Right. And I know that about you. You are a survivor. But I know people that are totally opposite of you, and I see some people that don't have your warrior spirit. Okay.
Well, let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you where my warrior spirit comes from. And I have to give honor where honor is due. I come from a long line of strong women, okay? Especially my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother taught me in a way that she didn't even realize she was teaching me to be strong.
Okay.
My grandmother has faced adversities that I don't think I could have took.
Mm-hmm.
Being, an older woman in society, especially being older. My grandmother is deceased now, but not having a formal education and, navigating your way through life and,
Mm-hmm.
Different things that she did. But my grandmother was a woman of faith, okay? A serious woman of faith. And no matter what obstacles approached her, no matter what came her way, I never saw my grandmother break.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw her give up.
Mm-hmm.
So I honor my grandmother, for those things. Likewise, my mother has had some obstacles, and my mother deals with them the best way she can. But we, as women in my family, we tend not to take care of ourselves. We tend to put everybody before us.
Mm-hmm.
And mentally, that is not a good thing. But I'm going to speak for myself.
Okay.
One thing about me, my warrior spirit comes from, I was not allowed to say the word I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I remember always saying, I can't do that. And I was taken outside. I had to write that word on a piece of paper, put it on a shoebox, go out and dig a hole, and I had to bury it because I was not allowed to say, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I was not allowed to be a quitter. Okay. I could not quit no matter what. I mean, it's like you got to keep going. Number one, I raised a black man. He couldn't see his mother in the position of a quitter.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't believe in that. You keep going no matter what.
Right.
You might get knocked to your knees, but you can always get back up.
And I've been the same way because dealing with my stuff, my physical stuff. My grandmother was a nurse back in the day, and my grandmother was a nurse back when in a small town in Georgia when it was not cool.
My grandmother was domestic.
Right. So she was a nurse back in the day.
Yes.
So but my grandmother told me, boy, if you don't learn how to take care of yourself, nobody ever gonna do it for you. So I've always been determined to take care of myself. Now I've learned over the last 10, 15, 20 years that I have to be able to just be like, if I need help or if I'm mentally struggling, there are people that I can talk to about some stuff and just go, okay, I
struggle asking for help.
Yeah.
I struggle asking for help.
And that's something I still struggle with at times. I still kind of struggle from time to time asking for help. I do at times. There are times where I still kind of struggle. Every now and then I can still struggle for it, but for the most part I don't. But I do know that there are some people I will talk about certain things with. There are certain people I don't talk about certain things with because certain people are not as understanding as others.
Some people can't handle it.
Right.
But I am glad you gave me this platform to be able to speak, and I hope to get the opportunity to speak with you again.
Oh, we're definitely going to have some more conversations. I'm also going to have more people talking about this because this is something that we need to talk more about and we also need to talk about, how this also affects the relationships that we get in.
Oh, definitely. Because
we can also have that. We can have a conversation about the relationship.
Looking for love and the whole nine yards.
Right, because this also affects the type of dynamics that we get into when it comes to relationships.
Whether it's a romantic relationship or platonic relationship.
Yeah, because have you noticed that sometimes you will gravitate towards people that are familiar.
I get that. I'm going to say this. I tend to gravitate toward older people who provide that's supposed to provide that stability.
But they don't.
Oh my God, they drain me. It's like they empty my cup and then I'm empty.
Right.
Or whatever. But like I say, I thank you, for opening this platform for me to be able to talk. And I look forward to having more conversations with you.
Right. And we definitely going to have to, it may be some Zoom conversations, but we definitely going to have some conversations about some other stuff. And
Oh, definitely. I will be ready and open and honest about everything. Like I say, I'm full disclosure.
same here. And we definitely going to have to delve deeper into these, the more
Issues, yes.
the more intimate issues.
Oh,
about
definitely, definitely.
But I want to thank you today, and I want everybody to give Wanda some love in the comments, and also if you guys want to see more of this type of content, please subscribe, comment, and we will see you next time.
Have a great day.